Welcome to Five Below Cooking Show. My name is Stan.
Hi, my name is Louisa. Our cooking show is about cooking easy and delicious dishes with 5 ingredients or less.
Today we're going to share with you a recipe called Five Below Tomato Cream Soup.
This easy to make soup only uses 5 ingredients such as crushed tomatoes, chicken broth, onion, olive oil, and sour cream.
That sounds delicious. It's an easy to make soup with ingredients that are most likely already in your kitchen.
For this recipe, you will need 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes and tomato juice, 14.5 ounces of low sodium chicken broth, 1 medium brown onion, 4 tablespoons of sour cream, and 1 tablespoon of olive oil.
Now we're at the stove and now we're going to start to prepare the soup. First thing you want to do is you want to add your olive oil to a hot pan and warm up the oil. And once the oil warms up, what we're going to do is we're going to add the onions in there. And very important, we're not going to fry the onions. We're going to saute them and let them caramelize because we want to get them to get the sugars out so it can compensate for the acidity of the tomato soup. So now that we've got onions in there, let's go ahead and mix them up a little bit and then turn down our heat to about medium-low. And we're just going to let the onions start to saute and caramelize. We don't want to fry them, so we don't want to make sure that we'll consistently stir them so they don't start to brown. But I say about 5 to 7 minutes is what you will need to get the onions ready for the soup. Now that the onions are ready, you can see that they're not fried, they're just a little bit brown, and we want them to saute and caramelize because the sugar that's released is going to help balance out the acidity of the tomato sauce. So now that we have our onions ready, what we're going to do is we're going to add our crushed tomatoes in tomato juice. And the reason you want to get them with tomato juice is because it's going to be less concentrated and less acidic compared to like a tomato sauce or tomato paste. So once we add our tomatoes, we're going to add our chicken broth, and then we're going to add our sour cream. And what we're going to do now is we're going to stir. We're going to stir it to mix all the ingredients and make sure we break up the sour cream. That's what gives the creamy texture to the soup, so that's why it's called the tomato cream soup. And once we stir everything up like this, we're going to bring it to a boil, and after it comes to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat and we're going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes. One thing you want to do is leave the top open, because what's going to happen is that some of the liquid's going to evaporate, and that's going to make it a little bit thicker. So now that we've mixed everything, now we're going to wait till it comes to a boil, and then we'll do the reduce of the heat, and then we'll wait till it's finished. And now you can see that the soup is coming to a boil, and we're going to wait till it starts to have a little rolling boil. We're going to stir it one more time, and then we're going to reduce the heat to about medium to low so it can start to just simmer for a while so all the flavors can combine to make a delicious soup. So let's go ahead and get in there and stir it up a little bit like this. And now we're going to reduce our heat and we're going to let it simmer. Now, one thing you want to do is you want to leave the top off. Don't put the top on your pot, because what you want to do is in the next 20 minutes when it's simmering, you want some evaporation to take place so the soup can thicken up and the flavors can combine even more. And now after the 20 minutes, now as you can see, the soup simmered and we are pretty much finished and ready with the cooking. So what we're gonna do now is turn off the heat, and we're gonna use an immersive handheld blender to blend everything to a puree. And you basically just gonna put that in. And as you can see, we want to puree till there's no more pieces of onion or diced tomatoes in there. And once we do that, our soup is ready. And now it's time to serve and eat. Hey everybody, welcome back. So now we got the soup ready, as you can see. And now comes the best part of this. We're going to eat it. So Louisa, would you do the honors and pour us a couple of bowls of the soup?
Absolutely, I am starving.
And I gotta tell you, the smell's so good because the combination of the tomatoes with the onion and the sour cream is really nice and coming through. And if you want to cook it for a little longer to evaporate more liquid to make it thicker, you can do that as well.
It's piping hot, so be
Oh
careful.
yeah, so it's piping hot. And also, if you like to make a substitution instead of using chicken broth, you can always use vegetable broth. And the reason we add broth is to get a little bit more flavor. But it's really up to you. You don't have to do it. You can even add water. But anyway, now we're going to do the most important part. We're going to taste it. Are you ready, Louisa?
Oh, bon appetit!
Let's do it.
Oh,
That's delicious.
it's so tasty.
It's not too acidic.
Not
It's
at
a very
all.
good combination. And that's one of the reasons we added
Yeah.
sour cream, is to help get rid of some of that acidity. And that's why we caramelized and sauteed the onions, because they added more sugar to the soup to make it even
Yeah.
less acidic.
And it's very creamy and it's so tasty. It's not too salty, and it's on the contrary, it has a very well balanced taste, and it's just right down. I really love it.
And
Not
that's,
salty.
and that's why we also add the broth, because it already has sodium in it, so you don't need to add any additional salt to it. Of course, if your palate requires it, you can also do that as well.
And you can accompany this dish, this soup, with sourdough bread, crackers, croutons. You know,
Yeah, you can also
yeah.
put it into a little cup and pair it
Yeah.
with a half a sandwich for a light lunch. That's also a great idea.
Yeah, I love
It's
it.
very versatile, and it's really easy to make. As you saw, we just blended 5 ingredients together, and 20 minutes later we have a complete soup. It's something you can make at home for your family, your friends, or even just by yourself.
It's super healthy. We are so happy that you enjoyed the show. And let us know what you think in the comments section when you make the soup.
And the other thing is, please don't forget to give us a like, tap the subscription button, and hit the bell so you're notified every time we have a new recipe. You'll be the first to know.
And remember, we want to show you how to make delicious dishes quick, easy, and fun.